My wife came back from her girls' trip and asked for space. I agreed immediately. She didn't realize I'd already seen his name on her phone, and she had no idea what I was going to do next. This is a confession I received. The man who sent it asked me to read it exactly as he wrote it. I'm not the kind of man who raises his voice. Never have been. I notice things quietly, file them away, and wait until I'm absolutely certain before I move. Claire always said that patience was one of the things she loved most about me. Toward the end, I think she was counting on it working against me. The trip had been planned for months. 5 days in Lisbon with her closest friends, a birthday, rooftop bars, a bucket list city. I drove her to the airport myself, kissed her goodbye, told her to enjoy every second. I meant it. At least I did at the time. She landed and sent me a voice note, said the city was incredible. Photos followed waterfront views, wine glasses, laughing faces. Everything looked exactly right. That was the point. She came back on a Sunday afternoon. The moment she got in the car, I felt it. Not something I could name, nothing dramatic, just wrong. Like a painting moved an inch, the room looks off, but you can't explain why. "How was Lisbon?" I asked. "Amazing," she said. "Exhausting. I just need a few days to decompress. Is that okay?" "Of course," I said, and just like that she gave herself distance. The first thing I noticed was her phone. Claire had always been careless with its screen up, left anywhere, never hiding anything. Now it was always face down, always within reach, always flipped the second she set it down. I said nothing. The second thing was her location. We'd shared it for years. Nothing controlling, just practical. One evening, I checked the app. Her dot was gone. I brought it up casually that night. "Hey, your location's not showing on mine." "Battery," she said, barely looking up. "Turned off some apps." "Makes sense," I said. It didn't. She'd been home 2 days charging her phone normally. She never turned it back on. I didn't say anything else. Not yet. I was still collecting. A few nights later, she left her phone on the kitchen counter while she showered. I wasn't going to go through it. That's not who I am. But the screen lit up. And there it was, a name I didn't recognize. I memorized it. Later that night, while she slept, I looked it up. 4 minutes. That's all it took. Daniel Marsh. I'd met him once. A mutual friend's birthday, maybe 8 months earlier. We shook hands, talked for 2 minutes. I remembered thinking she seemed a little too familiar with him. At the time, it meant nothing. Now it meant everything. The next morning, I thought about the Lisbon photos. 6 or 7 over 5 days. That wasn't like Claire. She documented everything always had. I opened our shared photo library. There wasn't much there. Then I did something I'm still deciding how I feel about. I opened the recently deleted folder on our shared iCloud. She hadn't emptied it. 43 photos. The first few were normal. Friends, dinners, a sunset or two. Then the pattern changed. Claire at a rooftop bar. Laughing, fully present, completely unguarded. The kind of happy that only happens when you've forgotten to perform it. And next to her, Daniel Marsh. Not a group shot, just the two of them. Close, too close, her hand resting on his arm. Timestamp, day 3, right in the middle of the trip. I closed the laptop, walked to the kitchen, made a coffee I didn't drink. Stood at the window for a long time. I expected anger. The urge to wake her up, put it all in front of her face, demand an explanation. Instead, something else arrived. Clarity. The kind that comes when everything finally lines up. When all the small things you filed away suddenly become one undeniable thing. It was almost calm. Almost. I sat with it for 2 full days without saying a word. During those 2 days, I made decisions. I called a lawyer, a friend of a colleague who handles family law. I wasn't filing anything. I just needed to understand where I stood before I walked into anything. He was calm and direct. Exactly what I needed. Then I thought about the conversation. Not at home. Home was too easy. Too many rooms to retreat into. Too many doors to close. I needed somewhere contained. Somewhere we'd both have to stay at the table. I booked a table at Luca. Our restaurant. Anniversaries. Promotions. Random Tuesday nights when we just felt like going. She'd know the reservation meant something. She'd be relieved I think part of her had been bracing for a fight, and dinner at Luca would feel like the opposite of that. I called her from the other room. Hey, I thought we could do dinner Friday. Just us. Clear the air a little. I made a reservation at Luca. Pause. Yeah, she said. Yeah, I'd like that. She sounded genuinely relieved. I knew she would. Friday came, she dressed up, made an effort. I noticed. We drove there. Had a drink at the bar first. Talked about nothing work. The week. Safe ground. It felt almost normal. That's exactly what I needed it to feel like. We sat down. The food came. Easy conversation through the starter. I let her settle in. Let her believe it was fine. Let her exhale. Then, halfway through the main course, I placed my phone on the table between us. Screen up. Already open. The photo. Claire and Daniel. Rooftop bar. Her hand on his arm. Day 3. I didn't say anything. I let her see it. She looked at the screen. Then at me. Silence. Tell me about Lisbon, I said. She said my name, just my name, buying herself a second. I've already spoken to a lawyer, I said quietly. I just want to know if you're going to tell me the truth this time. That's when she broke. She told me everything. How they met through mutual friends months before the trip. How something developed slowly, then quickly. How Lisbon wasn't planned, but wasn't accidental either. I didn't know what I wanted, she said. Her eyes were wet. I believed her. That was the hardest part. I listened without interrupting once. Didn't raise my voice. Didn't react. Just listened the way I always had. When she finished, I folded my napkin, placed it beside my plate. I appreciate you being honest, I said. I think it's time we figure out next steps. Separately. We drove home in silence. That night, in the guest room, the silence finally caught up with me. That's when it hit. Not loud, not explosive, just heavy. The kind of pain that doesn't announce itself, it just settles in and stays. I lay there for a long time. And underneath all of it, something else was there too. Steady, quiet, mine. Months later, she asked me how I'd figured it out. What had given her away first? I told her the truth. You left the recently deleted folder full. She went quiet for a moment. Then, I didn't think you'd ever look. And that was it. That was the most honest thing she said to me through the whole thing, because she was right. For years, I'd trusted her so completely that I stopped really seeing her. I watched her the way you watch something you're certain of, which means you stop paying attention. The moment I started actually looking, really looking, everything was there. It had always been there. I used to think that trust meant not looking too closely. Now I think real trust survives being looked at. Because the people who truly respect you don't rely on your blindness to protect their secrets. They don't need you distracted. They don't need you trusting them too much to notice. They just need you to keep paying attention. And if someone in your life is counting on your patience to betray you, that's not love. That's strategy.